What if Deku was the son of Sir Nighteye? Part 2. Now, before I do get into this, I'd like to say I'm sorry for not uploading for 3 days. I just took a short middle of the month break. And I'd also like to thank you all for 8,000 subscribers. And if you want to go check out my gaming channel, Lord Duck, the link in the description, I'm doing a Minecraft series over on that channel. Now, getting into this what if. Where I left off, Izuku and Uraraka just beat Todoroki and Bakugo in the Heroes vs. Villains assignment. Now they would go back to this big facility where All Might was, as All Might would congratulate them on their victory, as they would then just sit there and watch the rest of their classmates compete. From there, they would go back to their house to just wait it out, as they would go back to school the next day to reveal that they're going to a place called the USJ. They would all get their hero suits on and pile onto the bus, as they would then just start feeling the bus move as it would drive to the USJ, of course. Now from there, they would get out as number 13, the hero, would come out and start to explain what they will be doing inside the building. Now, once she or he was done explaining, they would walk into the building, as Kirishima would then point out, "Whoa, they even have fake villains here? This place is amazing!" To which Aizawa would then jump down and say, 13, protect the students. These aren't fake villains. To which the entire class of UA would just be like, wait, those aren't fake villains? So we're getting attacked? As Aizawa would jump down and just start fighting these villains. From there, everything would go at the same. As Kirogiri would split up the students, Izuku would help Sue and Mineta get off of the boat in the water zone, as they would then get into the center plaza, as they would see Aizawa getting beaten down by the Nomu. As Izuku would jump in front of him, grab Aizawa, and jump back up to basically the huge staircase, as he would lay Aizawa up there, just hoping he would rest, as the doors would bust open, revealing All Might. As All Might would then say, "I am here!" As he would jump down and start to fight this Nomu, as he would continue to beat this, continue. Alright, he would just defeat the Nomu like he did last time, as Shigaraki would just start laughing. All for One thought this would happen. He foresaw it with his quirk, and that's why he's coming here. To which All Might would then widen his eyes. How many times have I said to which? All Might would widen his eyes as he'd say, "All for One? No, possible. My time limit, it's almost running out." As All for One would then just start laughing, as he'd say, All Might. It's a shame it gotta end at this time." If you guys know what I just did there, comment it down below if you want to get your comment pinned. As Izuku would then look on, as he'd see All for One appear right in front of All Might, as All Might would then just get a punch right through the stomach, as he'd say, "What? No, it can't end like this." As he'd look down to see a massive gaping hole in his stomach, as he would start to cough out blood and turn into the skinny form of All Might, as he'd collapse dead. As Izuku would yell, "All Might!" As All for One would then say, "It's no use, boy. All Might's dead. Now it's your turn to join him, as I feel you're the strongest here." As Izuku would hear a sudden crack, as time would all of a sudden stop. As Izuku would be able to look around, as he sees All for One just say, "You can see me. That's interesting. But one of the quirks I've stolen over the years allows me to stop time and see partially into the future. It's quite easy." As he'd throw a couple knives right at Izuku, as All for One would start to count down. 5, 4, 3, 2, as Izuku would then suddenly jolt his fingers and move out of the way at the last second, as All For One would then say, "So, you were able to somehow move. That's interesting." As Izuku would then rush at All For One, dodging each one of his attacks as he'd punch All For One in the stomach, as he would then get punched right in the face, being sent flying back. So he'd be like, How? How did he hit me? I couldn't even see that in the future." As All For One would then say that that's a part of his quirk. Are you that stupid? And now a quick ad break. The ad is over, we can get back into this what if. As All For One would say, "Are you that stupid? Keep in mind I have a time quirk, so even if you have one too, I can still predict your moves, hit you." As Izuku would then say, "No, this can't be possible. How am I losing?" As All For One would then click or just have a crack in his arms, as Izuku's eyes would widen, as he'd say, "Jeez, it's hard time he can do it again." As All For One would then throw knives out to some of his classmates, as Izuku would just say, No, I can't let them die." As Izuku would widen out his arms, using all of the power he can, infusing One For All with his time quirk, as Izuku was able to manipulate the time on the knives to where they were just completely in particles, as Izuku would collapse to his knees as time would resume, as For One would say, "Oh, that's sad. Appears you're not as strong as I thought." As Izuku would just wonder, could he only stop or erase the time of knives? Is this how it's gonna end? As Izuku, falling on his knees, would collapse dead, as Bakugo would yell, "Izuku!" using his explosions, jumping right at Izuku as he'd get his body and pull him over to where the rest of the class is, as Bakugo would then say, "Izuku, you can't die yet! Still have to prove I'm better than you!" As Momo would appear, saying that it's no use. He's dead. Now we cut to Izuku, who wakes up in a completely blank space, as he'd start walking around, as he'd hear a voice from behind him. "Oh, Izuku, you've arrived. It's funny seeing you here. Never expected another time user to come back here so early." To which Izuku would turn around and say, "Who are you?" Now this figure would just be like, "Isn't it obvious, Izuku? I'm Father Time, the person that gave you and your father your powers." As Izuku would just look at Father Time, say, "But why does All For One have those powers? Did you give those to him?" As Time would just say that All For One stole those powers from his grandpa. That's why Izuku never heard from his grandparents before, because All For One stole their quirks and killed them, seeing them as powerful. As Izuku would then just say, "Well, you can manipulate time, right? Can't you just send me back so I can defeat All For One?" To which Time would just say, "It's not that simple, Izuku. I gave you most of my powers. They were severely weakened in the transfer. The only thing I have is to transfer you back for 5 minutes. Even then, you'll still come back here. You'll be forced to live over the world, seeing when you should stop or forward time. Even give people your powers. It's what I've been doing for generations. You'll have to do it too once you accept this." As Izuku would just say, "I'll do anything to save my friends." As Time would just say, "I knew you'd take that choice. Now go, Izuku. 5 minutes is on the clock. It's all you have to defeat All For One. Transfer the rest of my powers into you. Now that you're somewhat of a god, you should be able to defeat him. As Zuko would just say yes as he'd wake up in his body, taking a huge inhale. I'm alive? 5 minutes. It's all I've got. As his friends around him would just see this blur past as Zuko would punch All For One right in the helmet, sending him flying back. He'd say, "What? I thought I killed you!" Which Zuko would just say, "You did. And you'll only be able to kill me once. Because I'll kill you before you can, with the second time." As Zuko would appear right behind For One and punch him right in his back as he would be sent flying the opposite direction. As Zuko would then snap his neck, which would cause time to instantly stop, as it was only him and All For One. As All For One would say, "Why'd you stop time? You know I could just do something else to make you just stop whatever you were doing and go focus on your friends." To which Zuko would just say, "Yeah, but that's why I already threw knives at your back. You're dead, All For One." To which Zuko would snap his neck once again, causing time to start up again, as All For One's back would get punctured with hundreds upon hundreds of knives as he'd fall down dead, as Zuko would then say 3 minutes. As his classmates would come up to him and congratulate him, saying, "Oh, Zuko, I'm so glad you didn't die." And Zuko would just smile, saying, "I did die, and I'm dead right now. I have 3 minutes before I'm transferred back into the blank space. I'll still watch over you. So I've become the god of time, apparently. It's to a deal I took with Father Time. It's all confusing, but I thank you all for being my friends." As the entirety of his classmates would just start crying. Zuko just risked his life, and now he has so much duties as a god because of them, just to save them. As the minutes would pass, as Zuko would then just start turning into dust as he'd blow away, almost as if he never existed, as his class would attend the funeral for him, which there basically wasn't any, because of the dust just blowing away. And that's where this What If is going to be left off. Finished. Tomorrow is going to be what if Deku was a Joestar. I thank you all for watching this series. I thank you all for 8,000 subscribers. And please go check out my gaming channel, Lord Duck. Thank you all for watching once again, and goodbye.